how did I start Sticker Shuttle? It's a big question because a lot of people ask, did you just go in and buy all of this gear or did you kind of build up over time? And I'll get more into that. The way the business started, it actually started as just a side hustle. I was working at a dealership. A buddy of mine who actually worked at the dealership with me, who I'd known for quite some time, him and I started it together. And the reason that we knew stickers even had a market was because our friend Tate, he was selling stickers on Facebook, Etsy, all different types of marketplaces. And he had basically proven that stickers are a huge market and I hadn't realized it. And while I was working at the dealership, I started looking around and I was like, holy shit, there's a lot of stickers on these cars. And so then I started looking around beyond cars. There's a sticker on this window. There's a sticker near this tap reader. There's a sticker pretty much everywhere you can think. There is a sticker that can be associated for a certain niche. And once I realized that, my mind just went, basically what I did was I said, okay, I want to just start selling stickers. I want to make sure that I have this platform before I go and buy all of this gear. I would make sticker designs and Taylor would ship them for me, essentially. And we did this for maybe a month or two until I kind of got some traction. And at that point, I was selling 30, 40 stickers a day. We were making hundreds of dollars per day and it was insane. From 5 in the morning until 8 in the morning before my job, I would ship about 30 stickers, sometimes 40, sometimes even 50 stickers individually on envelopes. And I was like, fuck, this is way too much work for the return that I'm getting. And we just continued doing it because it was just a thought and we had some traction and we didn't want to diminish that traction. So we just kept doing it. We just kept selling 30, 40, 50 stickers a day until we got to the point where we had enough in an account where we could buy this machine right here. This piece of machine right here, the Mimaki CJV, was the first machine that we actually bought. The reason we bought it was because it prints and it also cuts, and we didn't want to buy a printer and a plotter. We didn't have the funds at the time, and honestly, we didn't have the funds for this at the time. We spent about 500 bucks each of our own money, and then the rest we used from the sticker money. And at the time, it was just me and my business partner, so we had moved it into his house, and it didn't go quite as planned. It was awesome, it took a huge learning curve. We had a technician come out, show us the ins and outs. We went through so many trials, so many errors. And business owners don't usually show that stuff, and I think that's why Instagram is getting so big and TikTok is getting so big for small businesses, is because we're actually showing that small business behind the scenes look of the shit that happens and the shit that breaks. So we went through a lot of errors, it took a long time. And at first we weren't laminating, so it was just literally print, run it back through, cut. And it was so simple. But then out of nowhere, everything changed. Literally everything. We just went from 30, 40, 50 sticker sales a day to 0. I was in a panic. We were both in a panic. At that point, we were like, okay, we have this machine. Do we keep making funny meme stickers or do we pivot? So at that point, we pivoted. We decided, let's try to pick up some custom work. We know a couple small business owners. We've got a decent Rolodex of people, if you might say, from working in the car industry and just meeting so many different business owners. And it worked. It was crazy. We started doing small stuff, 50 stickers, 100 stickers. And then we started getting into other things like applying vehicle decals and service vehicles and whatnot. And at that point, we had started to finally find our groove. We've got this new machine, we're printing stickers, we're shipping them, we're doing it ourselves. This was a scary step because we were by no means experts at the time. We had just got this machine, it'd been maybe a month and a half before the turn started to happen. And we were just figuring shit out, and sometimes things don't go always as you plan them, and that's okay. But if you can pivot, change, and adjust, sometimes things look out for the best. So once we started getting some traction with small businesses, we tried to go down other niches and it just didn't work. In the end, I decided small businesses and creatives are my focus because that's who I can relate to the most, whether it was selling Skittles in high school or a t-shirt business, now the sticker business. I've always been doing something, so I understand that grit level of the beginning stages. After a few months of doing custom work, we decided as business partners it was best to mutually disconnect. I moved all of the printing gear from his house into my dining room. We sold our dining room table. We knew that we were moving to Denver, so we can handle this for a few months. And then when we get to Denver, we'll look for a place that actually has space. I said, I need to focus solely on content because it seems like the more content we post, the more sales we get. So I went all in. I went back to the original schedule of now printing custom stickers from 5 a.m. until 8 a.m. And then I'll go into my full-time job like before, but instead of retail, I was doing custom. It got to a point where I could quit my dealership job, took a risk. I was comfortable with that risk and I understood that the risk that I was taking had some backlash if it didn't work out. That was a huge change for me, but I think it was the right change because it led to where we are now. And it's just me. I'm the only one who runs everything for the sticker shop now. I went full time and it was tough. The hardest part was moving to Denver, and basically it felt like starting over because a lot of those businesses I had built were all in Columbus, Ohio, which they still work with us, but it felt like a different type of community. I had known a lot of the people. I'd known a lot of the community in Columbus. It's a smaller city. Once we moved to Denver, it was tough. I had to pretty much rebuild that community. And we've been here for about 10 months now. It's been awesome. It started to shift. I'm starting to see a lot more companies come in that are from Denver and just really connecting with the community here, and it's been so awesome. If there's one thing I've learned from the past 2 years of owning Sticker Shuttle and the past year of going full-time, it's that sometimes business partners don't work out, sometimes you lose friends, but sometimes that's just the way it goes and you have to adapt. But if whatever you're doing isn't working, you have to change. Maybe it's time to pivot into something that will bring in more income so that you can do what you want to do later on. I found what did work and I started pushing that, and it's been working. I'm getting hundreds of thousands of views and comments, and I realized that people want to see what's behind the scenes, and that's part of why I started the YouTube pivot. That's the biggest thing. Anyway, a company called La Bella Cookie Vita reached out to me and they need a vinyl banner with a pop-up stand. They've ordered from me before, so they know what the quality is going to be, but I want to take you through the process of how I would fulfill this order. The first step is we're going to print the vinyl banner, and then we're going to hem it, and then we're going to put grommets in it, and then we're going to put it onto the pop-up banner stand. It's called an X stand. They also need some stickers, but today we're just going to show you the process of how we make vinyl banners with pop-up stands. And I think you guys are going to enjoy this process because there's a lot of things that people don't realize that go into this stuff. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and make this banner. Now, there's 4 pinch rollers that lever is clamping down. So the first thing that I'll do is put my hand here. That way when I lift the actual lever, the roll doesn't come flying back at me. Now that I have my hand on here, I can let go, but I'm also gonna just feed it. So I have some tape that's just randomly discarded up here from when I opened the roll for the first time. So I'll go ahead and put that on, pull this off. Oh, this is heavy. This shit is heavy. So I'm gonna load this on. Tighten it as much as I can, and boom, we got that going. Because this is so heavy, I didn't even need to put tape on it. It just kind of sits. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll this up. So now that I have this in a position I want, there's some lines here I have. I'm gonna pull that clamp down and those pinch rollers are gonna tighten it. So I'm gonna take you around to the other side and show you the next process. So before I start this, I actually have to tell the machine how wide this material is. So to do that, I'm gonna hit roll, which is the left arrow. And as you can see, it's gonna do its media detect. You can see the laser, it's going to find where that media end is, and then it's gonna come over here, media end. We also want to tell it that there's 4 pinch rollers. That's all set up. Let's head over to our computer and let's get this design file. So as you can see here, I have the design file pretty much loaded and completed. I add a 1-inch hemming outside of every single banner I print. Super easy to set up this file. It's basically all set up at this point. As you can see here, it's at 66 inches by 27 inches. The banner is actually going to be 64 by 25. This just allows the hemming from the top to the bottom, to the right, to the left. That way when I add my hemming tape, it doesn't overlap. Now, it does look like it's not rotated vertically, so I'm gonna go ahead and rotate it. I'll click this button here. Boom. Now you can see it's rotated properly. If I scroll up, it's going to show me the whole banner. However, I do like when my banners are centered so that I can properly cut it. So let's go ahead and center it. Let's center it by clicking this button. And now our banner is perfectly centered to our media. So let's send it. So while that's printing, I want to show you guys something I've been working on that is super cool. I'm sure you've seen these at the lottery. It's a scratch off that hides a discount code underneath the scratch surface. If you scratch one of these, you'll see a 25%, a 20%, a 15%, and then also free professional sticker pictures. This is an instant way to pique curiosity for your customer when they open their package or their shipment or whatever they ordered. This is an ideal way to get your customer back to your website without including something this size that says 25% off your next order and then they forget about. When you have something like this, they don't know what the discount is. They're going to want to know. They're going to want to scratch it off, which is going to pique curiosity, and then also allows them to feel like they won something without just being given something. What's underneath that? And it says scratch for huge winnings. Let's go ahead and scratch this. So you can see here, immediately they saw free. They're really peaked at this point. 25 free stickers on your next order. They feel like they just won something. That's not the same feeling when you just include 25% off or 10% off or free stickers with your next purchase. They had to put a little bit of investment. They had to go find a coin or something sharp. They scratched it off, and then they get to go ahead and open their stickers. They're gonna see the quality and they're gonna be like, holy shit, this is awesome. So these are really cool. I think the banner is pretty much finished printing, so let's head back over there. Before I actually grab the banner, I want to go over everything that I have. First, this is just a rubber vinyl roller. It allows me to run it over seams and hems. That way it doesn't damage the vinyl. Next, I have this razor. I've never actually used this on a vinyl banner, so I may swap this out with my box cutter, which I normally use. But this just is a little bit easier. I just got it and I want to try it out. It's just a little safety razor. This is double-sided hemming tape. I've got a 10-pack of these online for like 75 bucks. This is from Sign World. This has been so far the best hemming tape that I have found. And then this is the beast of a grommet press. This is a Stimson. I love this grommet press. I had bought one on Amazon and it was like 50 bucks and it was absolutely horrible. The press was slightly off, so it was pressing down on parts that it shouldn't. Save your guys self the time and get a nice grommet press if you are gonna do this. It just makes things a little bit easier. Yeah, I'm gonna move some of this out of the way, grab the vinyl banner and bring it on over here. Now, I could probably fold this all the way out, but I have found that it's just a little bit easier if I don't. And if I just actually roll this up a little bit, allows me to have a little bit more control like that. If I want to do that, I don't have to go around to each side. I don't have to flop it around, whatever. Like I said, I do have those hemming marks. So there's a line here that's gonna show me where I need to cut with my razor. So I'm gonna do that first. I'm gonna bring this over here and this over here. And I got this. The reason I got this again is just, I don't have to push that thing up and then push it back down every time. I just push up and when I let go, it goes back to its place. So let's see how it works. I do this by hand because I used to use this really nice, thick, weighted ruler I have back here. And I don't know if I'll be able to use this, not because it's not sharp, because the grip is a little bit hard to control. So I'm actually gonna switch back to my box cutter. Now I got this top part done, I'm gonna flip this around. I try to keep it on its back side as much as possible. See what I mean? Like, sometimes these get jammed and they kind of suck, so. But this is much easier to grip. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue using this. The other one I use for boxes. And I use the box cutter for vinyls. Awesome. Now I am gonna roll this out. And I'm gonna cut the line down this side. Over time, I've kind of developed a straight hand. And I used to be a lot more fragile with these, but man, I gotta say, this vinyl banner material has been super solid. Even in, like with creases and stuff like that, like once it's warmed up a little bit, it's all gone. So let's go ahead and flip this around. Roll this back out and cut this. This does require a little bit of focus, so if I'm not talking as much, explaining, I'm sorry. I can only record this one time. And again, I have just found this to be much quicker than making sure that my ruler's straight, making sure there's enough pressure, making sure it doesn't move. I should be able just to line it across the bottom here. So far, people have been really stoked about their banners. I'm actually gonna need that mini box cutter for something like this. This is perfect. Where it doesn't require precision as much, more so just a quick cut. Now, this is what this is for. This is gonna press that adhesive double-sided tape into all of these grooves. And as you can see, the vinyl, it has a lot of grooves. So you wanna be able to make sure that this adhesive is pressed down all the way. Otherwise, you're just gonna have a bunch of air holes or empty gaps, whatever the case is. And then I'm gonna peel this. This part's satisfying. I like to leave a hairline of color on the back. That way, you don't see any of this white. All right, you can see if I don't roll this out and I just use my fingers, you're gonna get a decent adhere, but you're not going to get something like this. So I'm gonna press this down and you'll hear some of those bubbles pop. That's normal. That's just it basically finding its position. Cool. And I usually do that again once everything's done on the front side, just so I can make sure that all of this is taken care of. So let's go ahead and flip this over. And now we have the other side. All this is doing is sometimes adhesive pops up when you first apply it, but once it's stuck down a couple times, it's good for pretty much existence. Now normally these have grommet outlines. I didn't set this one up to have grommet outlines because I find it just as easy to do this, which I'm pretty good at this point, is making sure that these are perfectly even. I've done it so many times now. So I'm gonna find that little hole I created, and this is just gonna press it right in. So you got your top piece, and then you have your bottom piece, and then when you press this, it presses all the way through and pops this little piece out. And I got my last one. All right, so I've got my assembly here. It's not all the way finished. I'll show you that process. So I'm gonna put these pieces in. Now, before I do start and grab that banner, I wanna take these little bolts off because these are what hold them in, and it's also what allows me to slide them on. I am going to hold this and just screw this in. That way it stays on and we don't have to worry about it falling off. Grab the other screw, come to the top, pop that in. Oh shit, I dropped a bolt. Grabbing another one. Fits actually quite perfectly because I have these dimensions already set up. And ta-da! We got a vinyl banner. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know sometimes they can be long, but I'm really just trying to show you guys the process so you understand what it takes to go into this. Thanks again, everyone. If you like this video, please like it, comment, subscribe, whatever you feel is more valuable to you. Until next time.